Good evening, everyone. I would like to bring this August 15th, 2023 meeting of the Bucks County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors to order. Could we all please stand for a pledge of allegiance?
Josh Waldorf.
I pledge allegiance to the
Join the
flag
meeting.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Beth, could we get a roll call, please?
Mr. D'Angelo,
Here. Here.
Ms. Banis Clemens. Here. Ms. Eilenberg.
I'm here.
Mr. Morgan. Ms. Pauley. Here. Mr. Purr. Mr. Cirillo.
Here.
Ms. Sheehan. Ms. Stern. Here. And Mr. Waldorf. Yeah, present.
We met earlier in executive session to discuss an employee-related matter. If there are no objections, I would ask now that we're going to have our public comment, and then we would like to be able to move the consent agenda, which would be items 6A through 12A, right after the public comment, and then we'll go into honor our retirees if there's no objection. Okay. So as far as public comment, is there anyone who has come from the public that would like to talk about agenda items?
Karen, did anyone sign up? No public comments.
Okay, so that being said, we have no public comment. So now let's move right to the consent agenda, which again, if you look, it would be items 6A through 12A. And with 12A being our health and safety plan, and anything wants to be pulled or discussed. And I would just ask Dr. Hoffman maybe a quick summary of what's going on with the health and safety plan.
Sure.
Quick point of order here. Can we acknowledge that Ms. Banis Clemens is present?
Okay, yes, we can. I didn't see you walk in.
In her IU t-shirt.
Thank you.
Dan, you can hang up on her. But again,
Mr. D'Angelo, was the request that I talk about the health and safety plan?
yes.
Yeah, so it actually is as basic and as simple as what's described in the agenda. Anyone who receives those ARPA funds has to complete the health and safety plan as the directives change, or at least at a minimum every 6 months. So doing it tonight satisfies the 6-month requirement. And we'll have to do it one more time, I think, in February, and then I don't believe we'll ever have to do it again.
Yeah, that was my question. Can we have a solicitor remind us what the expiration date is of all of this?
I believe the ESSER's funding grant period is what actually dictates the 6-month period or the minimum review. And so I believe, subject to confirmation, it takes us through the 2023-2024 school year. So I'll have to do it 2 more times, tonight and one more time.
Yes.
So there's no changes. It's just a little bit of cleanup. And so it's essentially the plan you've approved many times before.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the agenda, Ms. Polly?
I don't disagree with the consent items. I just, as usual, I have a few questions while I was reviewing. So if you don't mind, I don't know, did we pass that? And are we going back?
Should we get a second and a first and a second?
So we can discuss afterwards. Okay.
I actually
would like an amendment to a contract on the agenda or to maybe some clarification. So,
Or what?
okay,
Well, if you know which item you want pulled, you can handle that
Yes.
separately and you can have a motion then for all of the items except for that.
okay,
So which item?
that would be 7D.
7. So I'll make the motion that we approve a consent agenda of items 6A through 12A, accepting out item 7D.
D as in dog. Yes. A second.
Anyone have any questions or concerns? Doing that. Does anyone have any questions or concerns?
Um,
Go ahead.
should I ask my
Yes,
question? now?
this is your time.
Okay, all right, so thank you. Item 8B, the Microsoft Licensing Consortium Agreement. So there is an additional expense to Council Rock for 14,217, which is 700 items times 20.3. Could you explain what this is for?
Sure. Each year, the intermediate unit for the past many, many years has facilitated a consortium purchase for Microsoft licensing for the school districts. So not every technology solution is available in a consortium pricing model. But where we know that the school districts and the intermediate unit all buy the same products, we often reach out to the vendor to say, is it possible that if we bought this as a consortium through the intermediate unit, we could get a better deal? It's easier for the vendor because they're dealing with one individual entity, the intermediate unit, and they're also guaranteed more sales. And so we can get a discount. Think of it as like volume buying or consortium purchasing. The way that we purchase it through Microsoft is that there's a menu of available products that Microsoft sells. The intermediate unit will canvass the districts for their interest. If a school district is interested in participating in the consortium, just like any other bid, if you will, or group buy, they'll indicate to our technology department that they'd like to buy or license from Microsoft through the consortium X, Y, or Z. And it's usually based on staff count or server count or whatever it is that that product is actually being licensed for, whether it's for a laptop, a user, or a server. And so specific to any district, not just to Council Rock, your technology director would indicate on their menu, if you will, what it is they're buying. And then there's a calculation of what it would cost. And then the discounts reflected. Cece or Dan, did I miss any of that? No? Okay.
Well said. Ms. Polly, this is $14,000 for additional licenses for the Council Rock School District to cover your entire organization. So this is a one-time addition that was needed for your tech department to cover everybody.
Thank you. Okay. So in 9D, you talk about the workshop presenter agreement, the magic of communication.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that? Sounds really interesting.
So actually, as part of my executive director's report, I'm going to remind the board and all the employees that we're actually getting together on Monday for our opening day event. And so this is the contract with the presenter that's going to be talking to every intermediate unit employee,
Okay.
vetted by our team. And so this is the contract that allows that to happen.
And
So if you come on Monday, you'll learn more. I don't want to ruin any surprises.
how did you choose that presenter?
So a team of administrators sort of canvassed and talked to folks about what we thought would be an appropriate message. And every opening day is different. We were looking for something motivational, inspirational, but also had a work-related tie into communicating with our peers, knowing that building relationships and fostering relationships is important to our work. And so that's essentially the spirit behind this.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That
thank
sounds
you.
really interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So 9F, the second amendment with first student. I mean, we already had a contract. Why do we have to have an amendment?
And so I'm going to answer this and then I'll defer to Allison or Stacy. This allows us to augment the services that we originally allowed for in the first contract. So instead of just lift vehicles, this would be vans, traditional buses, or any other vehicle. So this gives us the authority to use first student in a more comprehensive way. Is that correct?
Yes, that's actually a very good description.
Thank you. I only know that because you told me that yesterday.
So in 9G, we also have a contract with the Ever Driven Transportation Services. So how do you decide to choose two different ones, and what does one cover something that the other doesn't, or you just like to spread the risk like to different like services?
Yeah, so we attempt to have as many available options for transportation, knowing that the referrals come at different times from different families that are eligible for early intervention through the intermediate unit. We always say here that someone turns 3 every day, and so there's the potential that transportation is needed every day. And rather than it's impossible to anticipate the number of kids who might need transportation tomorrow or the next day. And so we want to have the ability to augment our fleet. And the same thing is true with referrals from the school districts. So as school districts contact the intermediate unit with referrals for transportation throughout the year, we want to make sure that we have a suite of available transportation providers. If we're not able to complete it with our own staff, we want to be able to leverage a contractor. And so our team is smart and proactive in facilitating relationships with a variety of vendors and third-party partners to allow us to do that in the event that a preferred partner or a partner isn't available. We'd rather have multiple. And so knowing that the referrals come to the intermediate unit every day, all day, and that tomorrow we might get a referral for 5 transportation requests, we want to have a suite or what's the word I'm looking for? We want to have options. Thank you. We want to have a variety of options to choose from, knowing that each transportation request is different. So it might require
So
different kind of vehicle.
this is not set in stone in advance. It's every day you can decide to contact someone because there is a need, or because it's a specific numbers in the contract. So I'm trying to figure out what is the actual logistics of it.
It's transportation is complicated. You want to take a shot at that, Allison?
Sure. So in the beginning of the school year, there's a large number of students who are referred to our transportation department, and then they go through a routing process to match students and routes with either an internal driver or one of our contracted carriers. But then throughout the year, we receive referrals throughout for additional transportation needs. So as the year continues on, there's more students who are placed.
So this is just an option. It's not necessarily that the money will be used exactly. It says, depending on whatever request you get, you will decide exactly what to use.
Correct. So
Okay.
it's very flexible based upon needs.
Okay. I'm not done yet. Okay. So I think I'm going to, so 9R is a private provider and contract agreements. And are these necessary for needs that cannot be met by IU employees?
It's almost a similar or identical answer to the question that you posed about transportation. Looking at Dr. Graney and the team that's here, knowing that the referrals that we get from our school districts and also the caseloads that we build for the students that we serve in the programs that we operate ourselves, knowing that referrals might come or a student might become eligible for a service different times, it's important that we have the ability to have options to serve that child as fast as possible. And so that's the way that we attempt to facilitate it, creating relationships with vendors at the beginning of the year so that we don't have to tell a student they have to wait if they can't be served by an intermediate staff member. So that's the same spirit as the transportation conversation questions that you asked earlier. Dr. Graney, anything you want to add to that? No, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Just one quick thing.
Yeah.
Our contract with Penridge for the technology.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that all of this is included in that, right? Is that, because I know we had the conversation with our administration. I had a conversation with one of our community members who's deaf. And, you know, she had shared that she would love to come to our meetings, but she can't because she can't, you know.
The Penridge meetings?
On, right, yeah, for the Penridge meetings. And, you know, it was shortly after you had put all, you know, the IU had put this all together in a short period of time. And I was like, well, I know how we can get those supports into our meeting. So I'm hoping that built into this technology contract, you're going to be helping set all of this up for Penridge so that we can have people participate in that same way.
And Dan, I'll turn it over to you, but I know they had Penridge had their meeting last night and they leveraged the technology you helped them with.
Yes, and I understand that unfortunately Ms. Spanis Clements was unavailable.
So they used it
But-
last night.
Okay, awesome. Great to know. I was on the
Yes.
phone, so I didn't know.
I did this free of charge for my friendly Penridge School District.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All the pieces were in place. The team is great. So kudos to them. I really didn't do any work for it.
Well, thank you. You were the inspiration.
We're partners.
Okay, so then we have I think it's 10 C and D. It's about an agreement. And I understand that, this is this is private, but
Yeah.
it is a lot of money.
Yeah.
For one student or two students.
Correct.
And is it because the needs of the students cannot be met within the IU that the IU has to cover their education in different schools?
Yeah, similar to the school district. So for early intervention students, we are the LEA, similar to Council Rock being the LEA or Palisades being the LEA for the students in your catchment. And so oftentimes, if the intermediate unit isn't able to provide the service for any number of reasons, we need to pay tuition for that student to attend a school elsewhere, or perhaps that's the most appropriate placement to fulfill their IEP. And as the LEA, we're responsible. Similar to Council Rock will be responsible if a student attended another school based on the needs of their IEP. You would pay that tuition if it were the
No,
terms of a settlement. So
I know, and we have this, we face this a lot.
yes,
And a lot of times when I look at the numbers, I'm thinking, maybe we should go to the IU to provide the service instead
Sure.
of going to a different school. And that's why I'm asking why even the IU, I guess, cannot meet the needs of the students. So that's why they have to go out.
sure. Each year, I'm going to look at Patty or Rosanna or Dr. Graney. Early intervention serves over 3,000 students. Right. So we served over 3,000 students last school year. And we're on target to at least meet that or eclipse it this year in early intervention. That's what we're talking about here, 3 to 5 year olds,
Right.
not kindergarten through age 21. That's where we're the LEA. So for the 3,000 students that we were able to serve without settlement agreements, these two, I would say, represent the scope and the variety of services and the high quality programs that we offer. Sometimes a settlement agreement is necessary to meet the needs of that individual student. And so in context, these two out of the 3,000 that we serve, the tuition might seem excessive, but that's the going rate for a private placement for a 3 to 5 year old that would receive the specialized services. Dr. Graney, anything you want to add? Your microphone, sir. There's a person talking, like a little, oh, not working. Oh, sorry. Anybody, Allison, is yours working?
There you go, he got it.
There we go.
It's the complexity of the students also, that where they come with such unique needs that we have to look to see how can we effectively program for them. And at times there are students where despite all of the services we have in place and access to within the IU, there are a few other places that we have to look towards.
So is it customary for a school district to come to the IU first before they decide to go and agree to place the student outside?
So your
For
question's separate
school-
from this motion, these motions, right? Because these are for students in 3 to 5 year old programs that okay,
Yes,
just making sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, for school age students, kindergarten students in kindergarten through 21, many times the districts call us and ask, call it a district special referral, and they send us the request to support them with providing the specialized service, whether it be in one of our classes embedded in the schools within the district, or if it's at our center-based program such as Everett or Percy Square. And most of the time we're able to work with the districts. There are times where we either don't have space in our programs because we're capped at certain numbers according to the Department of Education, or the student has such unique needs that it wouldn't be an appropriate placement. And then, we work with the district to find an out-of-district placement in a private school or an approved private school.
Okay, thank you. So I think I have one more. So in 10G, there is some action items that they were listed. Could you explain exactly what the actions are? Because there is the budget there, there is I went through, but it was not very clear what the board has to approve tonight.
For Head Start?
Yeah.
All right. So Rosanna, you want to come up to the podium? This is Dr. Rosanna Mitch. She is our Director of Early Childhood Programs. Do you want to give a sense each month of what the board and for the folks that are here attending, there's a standing agenda item every month since we became the Head Start grantee specific to the Policy Council for Head Start, and then ultimately their referral to this board to ratify their actions. Dr. Miss, you want to talk a little bit about that?
So when we have our policy council meetings, we always provide some sort of an overview of what's happening in the program. And then the action items are, approving the minutes from last month. That's an action item. Approving the finance report and approving the personnel agenda is typically the action items that they're voting on. So
Similar to this board almost.
pretty quick, yeah. It's nothing extensive.
Okay, I thought it was something different this time.
No.
Okay. Right.
So there wasn't a policy council meeting in July. So you didn't see like the action items that they approved for the month before. So when you come back next month, you'll see what was approved this time. I'm happy to send it to you though, if you'd like to see it.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Dr. Mitch.
You're welcome.
So real quick, Dan, actually, I did notice last night. I just didn't know that I noticed because I could hear everybody very clearly through when I called in, and I was like, oh, this is great. Cause normally I can't hear everybody. I could hear every single person and everything that they said. So I didn't connect the dots, but I was able to see the benefits of what you guys did.
I wasn't there either, but I joined remotely and I could see the captions up on the screen and my heart got a little bit bigger that day.
Okay, Ms. Polly, anything else?
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your questions.
And they are very thoughtful questions. Anybody else have any questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Any abstentions?
May I ask, Mr. Waldorf, are you still on the phone?
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm ready for Miss Deb Cannon's amendment.
Point of order, would it be better for Deb to have the discussion about should I make the motion with Deb's discussion in mind or make the motion as written, which would be best?
Well, we don't have a motion yet for.
The question is, which would
7B.
be better?
Right.
To make the motion as written or to allow Deb to make her motion with the amendment?
As written.
I hear you, Josh, and I think you're right.
Okay.
No, okay, so I will make the motion to approve, I believe it was 7C. The D, 7D.
D.
All right, I'll make the motion to approve item 7D.
We have a second?
Wait a second, Megan.
Ms. Baines Clemens, second. Thank you. Questions or concerns, Ms. Cannon?
So under contracts, which would be the first attachment, I'm looking at Postkey Consulting. And that is a contractor service agreement to support the Career Ready Bucks website.
Correct.
For 25,000 between now and the end of next school year, for June of 2024. When you pull up the contract, which would be going to PDF page 10 of 46, in that contract on number 14, which would be page 12. While I recognize this section seems similar in other contracts that are on that same first attachment, I have a question or would like to amend or like to add language to this particular contract for Postkey Consulting. Because obviously, so for the background clearances in state police criminal backgrounds, I mean, that's Act 114. The child abuse, that's Act 151. PDM, the PDE Forum Act, I believe 30. No. 24. And then obviously employment history, Act 168. So the section on the TB test results, as it pertains to contractors, vendors, or non-employees, and this would not be pertaining to, well, it would include volunteers separately too, but I was under the impression if PDE has not changed their code, unbeknownst to me, that it would be applicable to when there's sustained exposure to a student, which would be 10 hours or more on a weekly basis, such as an athletic trainer, a nurse, a mental health provider, that kind of thing, sustained exposure. So when you have 82 businesses on our Career Bucks Ready website, which I'm very excited about, very happy to see, we're getting close to 100. I wanted to know in our interaction with those businesses, for instance, if that particular business we're only at the point where we're doing maybe just guest speaker, or we're not doing direct internships. If you do a direct internship, how many hours a week are those students being meeting with that particular contractor or employee of that business, where the exposure is longer than 10 hours a week? And are we putting ourselves in a position where we require those employees that would be interacting with those businesses to take a TB test and get the result when there isn't going to be applicable 10-hour sustained exposure to that student, and be in a position of where we shy away private businesses that we absolutely do want to connect with and want to be able to make it easy for them to come on board, especially if we're in a only guest speaker mode with them at this point, or we're in a we're not doing direct internships, mock interviews. Even then, how long a week are we exposing them to? I know there's some of these businesses where the students are just taking tours. And maybe that only be a one-time deal, like one-time shot. Job shadowing, that might be a sustained exposure. So they're going to see them more often during the week. Mentoring, but I was just wondering, do we have like a set number of like where we tier if we're starting out as guest speaker, now we're moving and this particular private business is taking on internships with our students, instead of blanketing on the contract, we're requiring all 82 businesses or any new ones coming on board to say any employee that comes in contact with our students, they have to have a TB test. I just know if you work for a bank, you're a banker, you're going to be mentoring someone. Now, in order for you to mentor them, you have to take clearly you're going through your background check. That all makes sense. Like I said, it's applicable to those acts, but submitting a health form or taking a TB test, I just didn't know if there was any protocol, Dr. Holler.
You want me to take a shot at that real quick?
Yeah, if you could speak to that.
Ms. Cannon, I understand your question, and I'm going to attempt to answer it. And Dr. Holler, you fill in the blanks. I believe the question that I'm hearing is specific to the 82 businesses or so that are currently affiliated with Career Ready Bucks, and any health or safety requirements that we impose or that we require those vendors or those partners. The contract that's on the table tonight is actually not related to any of those 82 businesses and doesn't apply to any of those any of the 82 businesses that are associated with Career Ready Bucks. Instead, this contract with Paskey Consulting is actually a supplemental staffing agreement that the Dr. Holler's team is using to contract with a highly qualified individual who will essentially join the team as a contractor to help recruit more businesses to get to 100.
Okay.
And so as a contractor of the intermediate unit, being paid by the intermediate unit as a contractor, we require the same health and medical clearances that any employee would have, which includes the TB test.
Okay.
So this contract is specific to one individual's private consulting company, and that individual's work as a consultant contractor for the intermediate unit to go and recruit another 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 businesses.
Okay.
This contract is not specific to any of those 80 businesses. It's specific to him as an individual,
Okay.
as a sole proprietor. Dr. Holler, did I get that?
Though well said, I would simply add that the businesses that are a part of our website do not have any kind of contracts with us. In other words, this is an open website that they essentially complete the form, they're registered to participate, and then that's essentially what gets them onto our website to be a part of it. We do not have any kind of individual contracts with any of our businesses for Career Ready Bucks.
Okay, so so for then, with respect to obviously then what you're referring to, if it's just the particular person within Poskie's Consulting.
Yeah.
Clearly then.
Or any
that
of his
makes-
agents.
That makes absolute sense.
Correct.
There's a difference, but that does bring up another question. And I think we may have touched on it before on the vetting. You had mentioned that any type of clearancing of any of the employees of the businesses. I believe you mentioned that was left up to the individual districts. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to
Mhm.
get that clarified.
Mhm.
So then the individual districts would need to put those parameters in place.
Correct.
All right, thank you for that clarity. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the questions.
So there's no amendment to the motion on
No.
the table then?
No, I rescind my amendment.
Okay, so we have the motion and this, we're not amending it. We have the motion and we have a second.
Yep.
We've had a discussion. So we're ready for a vote?
Yes.
All in favor?
Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion carries.
Thank you.
And that completes the consent agenda. Now we can get on to the most important event of the night. Is that correct, Dr. Alpha?
Well said.
So let me see here. Okay, so in our item 2 in our presentation and mini reports tonight, we're going to recognize some of our great employees that have retired this year. And just so you know, Dr. Hoffman will be fitting you with a leg device that can keep track of wherever you are for the next year, just in case we have to send a team out to bring you back for some follow-up.
Speaking of private consultant agreements, right? Exactly. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. We're going to turn things over to our wonderful HR team, Karen and Nora, or Nora, our supervisor of recruitment and retention. Karen Sandone's our director of HR. Nora, the floor is yours. Right, Mr. D? Good.
Good evening. My name is Nora Cuff, and I hold the position of Supervisor and Recruitment and Retention at the Bucks IU. In the initial mini report accessible in the presentations and mini report section of the board agenda, we pay tribute to an impressive 769 years of devoted service contributed by 38 retirees of the Bucks IU during the 22-23 school year. We've created a small video presentation for you to watch at this time.
Nora, how many years of service among the
769 years
769 years across the retirees this year?
across the 38
Total.
retirees.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. So on behalf of the Bucks IU School Board of Directors and the Bucks County Intermediate Unit, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your countless years of compassion. I know you're all behind me. Service and unwavering commitment to both the students and the Bucks IU community. As part of tonight's celebration, I welcome 7 retirees here tonight and kindly request each retiree to rise as your supervisor shares a few words in your honor. Erin Carson and Marian Calandra.
Good evening. I have the honor of recognizing Marian Calandra. Marian has served as a paraeducator for 24 years with the IU, with the majority of these years being at MBIT, which is Middle Bucks Institute of Technology. Outside of her work at MBIT, she has also supported students at our Bucks IU Decisions program. Marian will be remembered for her genuine kindness, your patience, and your continued service for your students. I wish you all the best in your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Hoffman and Mr. D'Angelo, would you like to? Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And the ESS application is in there too.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Sure. Dr. Hoffman and Paula Harland. You get to stay. There she is.
Come here. Paula needs no introduction to this board. Paula sat at that table. How many years did you sit at that table? 10 years at that table and 25 years in this room. That's a lot of board meetings. That's a lot of board meetings. For those of you who don't know, and for the benefit of those that are here this evening and watching online and watching this at a later date, Paula Harland set the standard that Allison now follows as the CFO of this amazing organization. She also set the standard for career advancement, starting in other positions at the intermediate unit and ultimately working her way up to become the chief dollar watcher here at this organization. When Paula retired, our organization's annual budget was about $210 million a year. When you started in your first role, the budget was, tell them, 64 million. And that represents growth. That represents trust in our school district partners and in our state agencies to empower us to serve students on their behalf. And it also demonstrates the commitment to honoring the tax dollars that we have the honor of leveraging to support the students. And all of that starts with our CFO and with our business office. And it extends to the entire team and the mission that we hold so important, driven by the dollars that we are honored to receive. And so Paula set the standard. You really did. I have had the pleasure of working with Paula essentially my entire career at the intermediate unit. And anything I know I'm able to answer is because of the work that Paula put into me, right? You know, teaching me things that I didn't know. And now learning from Allison, who that's where I'm going to end this. Not only did Paula build capacity throughout her career and herself and in her team, but she also built capacity in the folks that have since replaced you, right? You've left this organization better than you found it. You have a team of people here that have all been promoted under your leadership, who I can safely say that the board and I agree, we haven't missed a step. We haven't missed a step. And it's because of your commitment to the kids of Bucks County and your innovation and your recognized leadership in the state of Pennsylvania that we're also indebted to you. So thank you.
Mark Bernstein and Judy Heath.
So I'm Mark Bernstein, as she said, excuse me, and this is Judy Heath. And Judy joined the Bucks IU family where she worked for 23 years, 19 years, correct, as a social worker in Bristol Township School District. And then I successfully for the IU in Bristol Township, but I was able to steal her away to become a program and training specialist, which really brought joy and support to the districts, particularly through the pandemic. With your mental health expertise, it was just, you were a gift to everyone. So you are absolutely missed, but I'm glad I get to see you. And I'm sure you're looking forward to spending more time with Steve, the kids and the grandkids. So congratulations.
Hillary Fitzmaurice and Deborah Reynolds.
This is your moment. So this is Debbie, and she has been with the IU for over 20 years, most recently in the Quakertown Community School District at Nidec Elementary. Debbie has always been very driven to help students succeed and achieve their full potential. She has worked with countless students, those who are advanced in their academics, as well as early learners just beginning to make strides towards their independence. She has, without question, made an impact in the lives of the many students and families that you have supported throughout your time here at the IU. You will be very missed at the IU, but I'm very happy to report that you will be returning to Nidec in the fall, part-time through ESS. So congratulations and thank you. Thank you.
We don't need the tracking device for her.
Kathy Briner and Kim Loiser.
I'm Kathy Briner, one of the supervisors for early childhood programs here at the IU. Kim Loiser has been a staff member here for 19 years. We had the opportunity to work together in a variety of positions and opportunities. She's been sharing her passion and love for early childhood education in a number of roles here at the IU. She was an ABA trainer, developmental support classroom teacher, an itinerant teacher, an inclusion co-teacher, and she's been throughout the county as well, supporting programs. Also during her time here as a special instructor, Kim was honored as an outstanding educator through the Bucks County Association for the Education of Young Children. This was a notation of her skills and ability and wantingness to build relationships and bridges between our early intervention programs and our community preschools. And so it was through the nominations of our community preschools that they recognized her talents and gifts. Kim has always brought a quiet, nurturing, encouraging disposition to everyone that she encounters, whether it's children, families, or colleagues. She's taken great pride in this vocation to educate young children and serve children and families. Even now in her retirement, she has chosen to work with our earliest learners in birth to 3 through one of our partner agencies. So congratulations, Kim, on your retirement. Thank you. I knew I'd get here. Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
Mary Agnes DeSico and Sharon Riggy.
It is my privilege and pleasure to acknowledge a dear colleague, Miss Sharon Riggy. With 15 years as a paraeducator at the Bucks IU, Sharon has forever impacted the lives of countless students. I have observed Sharon to be nurturing, patient, firm when necessary, classy, professional, and above all, genuine. Her unassuming sense of comedic timing has been appreciated by students and colleagues alike. She has a way of bringing a sense of calm to the most challenging of circumstances. For these reasons, it is easy to see why she was a favorite staff member in the eyes of many students and a treasured team member to all colleagues. Sharon, you can't be replaced. I wish you continued health and happiness in your retirement. Congratulations.
Gina Meisler and Mary Jane LaCare.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gina Meisler, and I am so pleased to have this opportunity to recognize my colleague and friend, Mary Jane LaCare. Mary Jane has been with the IU for 23 years, working as a speech language pathologist. I believe we went through induction together in a year that is a long time ago, 23 years ago. But she did previously work in medical settings before coming to join our team here at the IU. Mary Jane has worked in all parts of the county, early on in Pennsbury for quite a few years, and then more recently in our IU programs in Upper County. Mary Jane is known for her warmth and her sense of humor, and she truly has a gift to form genuine connections with students who have even the most complex needs. She is highly valued by the many IEP teams and families that she has worked with over the years. Mary Jane also served as a rep and as president of our Bucks IU Education Association. Many of you know her in that capacity. She said she wasn't going to retire until she negotiated this last contract. And she got it. She got her wish. I would talk about how sorely missed she will be by our entire team, but the truth is that we've already had conversations about bringing her back like so many others. She will be microchipped before she leaves because her talents with students are just too great for her to not use them. So we will see you very soon. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you all again for your countless years of compassion, service, and unwavering commitment.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna take a little break. I would ask that we're gonna take a 2 to 3 minute break to give our retirees a chance to go. And just to update CC and Dan, for the two that'll be coming back, get the tracking device off their cars if you can over these next 3 minutes.
So you take a short recess and reconvene
Yes.
at 2?
Yes,
2 minutes?
with
2
there are
minutes?
no objections, we'll reconvene at, how would we say 8 o'clock? Reconvene at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're a hot commodity. Great, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you got a group shot? All right, perfect. Find out ways.
Right? Give it back. You're gonna reconvene in 1 minute, please.
See you guys.
We're just waiting for the famous moment. No, okay. Okay, we're going to reconvene now, and where we left off in our presentations and minute reports, I believe that Dr. Greeny has a special education report that he's going to talk to us.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. In your orange folder or on board docs under tab 2A is the special education mini report for the month. And we are excited because we just recently finished the ESY season for 2023. We've had a successful year. And tonight I have two of my colleagues here, Mark Bernstein and Kelly Hausman, to share some quick updates for ESY and the successes that we had this year. So Mark and Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hausman, the ESY coordinator.
Hi, Mark Bernstein. I introduced myself earlier, supervisor of IDEA and ESY services.
So I've had the privilege of being able to coordinate the ESY program for all of our students in the Bucks IU for 10 years. This was my 10th summer. It's a really big job to put together 5 different schools with all of our students. I'm going to just run through a little bit about what happened this summer and what the purpose of ESY is. I won't let him talk because I like to talk and I like to hear myself talk. I'll try to limit how much I say. So the purpose of ESY is the goal maintenance, socialization, staying in the routine of school and having fun. So the summer, our program is 5 weeks long for our students. It's 4 days a week. And it runs from 9 to 2:30. It's, and my daughter did not qualify for ESY. She just has a learning disability. But when she was in 3rd grade, she went back to school in 4th grade and she had lost 6 months in her reading skills because she has dyslexia. And what ESY does for our students is making sure that they don't lose that 6 months because it will take 6 months to gain that back. So ESY keeps our students on track so that they can stay up here, go back, do some review for the first few weeks of school, and then they can start on new goals. So by the time they graduate, they're going to be the best person they can be. So ESY is a big part of that. You're allowed to chime in if you want.
I agree. ESY is very important. But Kelly was talking about just the enormity.
Mark, could you get closer to the mic?
Excuse me. Kelly was talking about the enormity of the program and compared to any place I've ever been affiliated with, our ESY program, and the information's right up there. Kelly can share with you, but the size of the program is pretty amazing.
So we serve over 1,100 students each summer. 540 of them are at our full day center-based programs, and about 560 of them are served out in the community and other district programs. So a lot of your school districts do their own ESY programs, as well as they send students to our ESY programs, our IU students. And we also provide a lot of related services at your ESY programs during the summer. So we are everywhere. You cannot not find us. This year we hired 450 staff to support all of those students. You can see all the different positions that we have. And Mr. D'Angelo, I did already approach a lot of our retirees to come back and work ESY. Some of them are like, heck no, I'm not doing that. And then some of them are like, well, maybe. So we'll see about that. So I hope we did put those tracking devices in their bags, Karen Sandone. Okay, good. Good to know. And when I saw all those names of the people who retired, I was very sad because a lot of those people do work ESY. So I'm going to have to be reaching out to them to make sure they know how to apply again and keep working. Oh, one thing I wanted to add, thank you so much, to staffing. One of the big things, we have a number of our drivers that work. They transport this year alone, just to our program, they transported over 315 students. That does not include any of the students that are transported to district ESY programs, early childhood education, and other summer programs that are happening out there. So that's just a whole nother part of ESY that's happening out there. And thank our drivers. Thank you. If they don't get the kids there, there's no ESY. We do have 5 different locations that and our locations were in Quakertown this summer, 2 in Ben Salem, 1 in Pennsbury, and then of course our Samuel Everett program that runs. And then we did support in a number of district programs. We served all 13 districts this summer in Bucks County, as well as 30 more out of county districts where our students came from. So we are touching a lot of the parts of different parts of Pennsylvania. Just checking my notes. Give me a second. Support programs and program services. So we provide a number of services during the summertime. Our program services, I can tell you that some of our students have out of the program services, the items on the left-hand side, we have had students have up to 10 of those services provided just for that one student in the summertime. That would be 10 different providers that needed to be brought together to offer these services to our students. And then these are the different programs that we offer for our students to participate in the summertime. Of course, planning has already started. I came home from vacation. I started last week. I came back on Monday and I confirmed the dates for next year of ESY, and I've already started recruiting. So please tell your loved ones if they want to come and work ESY, they know how to get in touch with esy@bucksiu.org. I just wanted to tell one more story real quick. Sharon Taylor is one of our longtime head teachers. The head teacher oversees the ESY program. She is that lovely lady right there. She worked for the IU for 43 years. And she was a head teacher, which means she oversees the entire program at one of our locations for 14 summers. And she actually did not retire at the end of the school year because she wanted to be sure she could have one more year at ESY. It was her favorite time of the year. And I am heartbroken that she is retired. I will keep in touch with her. I love her very, very, very much. She was so great with the students, and she's exactly who we want our teachers to be. And she helped our students learn, flourish, and contribute, as you can see. And if you have any questions, we are up here to answer any of them. And thank you for the opportunity to do this good work.
Yes, I have a question. Do you, if you're beginning the plans for for ESY for 2024, do you have an anticipated percentage increase in enrollment? Do you have any idea what you're looking at?
This summer, we did have a 9% increase. It kind of ebbs and flows. It fluctuates, thank you, Mark, with the number of students and what the district's needs are. And that's usually what I plan around. I usually look for a 3-year trend to see where we're going when I'm doing the budgeting.
Okay, thank you.
I'd just like to thank you both. And as you go through your slide, and you have the one that says, we hired 450 people. Okay, next slide. Oh, wait a minute. When you look at all the different classifications and different things that you need to be able to get 450 people, and I'm not saying on a moment's notice, but it's just a really remarkable achievement. And it's something that you should be proud of. And again, it's just another way that it connects almost every part of this organization. And I just want to commend you for that's really a great job. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. D'Angelo. So Robin had suggested our marketing coordinator. that I come in I have an orange outfit that's like goes outside of the used car stores. And we did have a job fair here in the springtime, and I was standing out in the corner with that on, and she suggested that maybe I should have worn that in here to present, just to show all the hats that we wear as at the ESY department, to get people to come into work. So yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a big puzzle put together, and I just am really privileged to be able to do it with a wonderful team. So thank you guys so much.
Mr. D'Angelo, can I just add two additional comments?
Sure, Len.
In addition to what Kelly and Mark shared, the starting of that mini school district over the summer for the 5 weeks, they help lead that process, but we're really thankful to our partners in HR and the business office and transportation that help make it together. It's all of those pieces coming together to be able to provide the services for the district. So something we can't do alone, and we're very thankful to HR and the business office and transportation and facilities for getting our sites up and going, and it truly is a team effort.
Very well said. Very well said. Very true. Okay, Dr. Haller, we want to talk about programs and services minute reports.
Good evening. In your orange folder, you'll see the mini report for programs and services. I'll just talk briefly about this month's report. So every year we try to look at some new topics, and this is a topic that certainly has been near and dear to our hearts, but certainly has grown in the past year. We have always provided an English language development advisory council. We actually rebranded it because it used to be all the acronyms have changed over time, and you might recognize the term English as a second language. And so we really wanted to be responsive, since the new terminology really is English language development. So we have that advisory council, but over the past few years, and especially last year, we've seen a growth in our English learners across the county. And so in response to that, this past year, we put together some full day opportunities for our English as a second language teachers and some others who support them to continue that professional learning together as a county in response to the growing needs. So that Nicole Borland, who's here tonight as our Director of Teaching and Learning, prepared this report just to give you a brief snapshot of what's happening in our world when it comes to English language development. And I just will highlight that we had a very successful go of some professional learning this past year, and we have already set, due to Nicole's leadership, some plans in motion moving forward into 23-24. So we have plans to continue to provide support. We also will be providing some program quality reviews in the area of ELD to support some of our districts as they continue to look at their programming due to the influx of students that we've seen over the past several years. So that's just a brief snapshot of some of the things that are going on with this particular programming. But we can, in response to the needs in our districts, we really continue to look for ways we can add some value and support.
Any questions? I guess my one question was, we've seen an increase, and we would expect that we will see increase year over year for the next few years, correct?
It's very probable, yes. I think that we've started to hear preliminary numbers that in terms of students that will be coming into our county. And so, yes, I think the numbers we will see will continue to grow for at least the next few years, if not really just be the trend and the new normal.
Yeah, and it's good to know that you're helping all of our districts kind of manage that. And, you know, again, we talk about estimating and enrollment and all, and these are things that the from our vantage point at the IU, that we can really add value to the local districts and provide some you know, programs that kind of help bridge the gap until everybody is really assimilated. So thank you so much.
Sure. Welcome.
Okay, Dr. Hoffman, it's all yours.
In your orange folder, I just want to bring a couple of things to your attention. You have the mini reports from Mark Bernstein, Kelly Hausman, from Dr. Haller. You also have our awesome e-news, which I will not go through. I don't want to read it to you, but I just want to highlight the fact that this includes every month, as you know, a lot of the great things that you'll see on social media, things that celebrate our staff, and most importantly, things that celebrate our students, things that showcase our partnerships, and things that showcase our entrepreneurial efforts. Also, in your board packets for the board members, you'll see a one-page handout that I also shared with you via email that invites you as Bucks IU board members to our opening day celebration, which is actually a week ago yesterday. It'll be Monday, August 21st. Big thanks to the William Tennant High School and the Centennial School District for hosting us. The intermediate unit team is large, and there are only a few auditoriums in the county that can hold us when we're all together. And very rarely are we all together, which is why opening day is such a special event that I hope, if your schedules allow, that you're able to attend. I just wanted to give you a sense of what the morning looks like. Opening day is really the kickoff to what we call opening week, which Kelly earlier and Mark talked about planning all year for ESY. What we have administrators and coordinators, specialists that are essentially planning all year for opening week and all of the things that have to occur. A lot of mandated trainings, of course, same as your school districts, but also team building and getting folks acclimated, new teachers oriented, as well as launching new programs. So opening days when we're all together as an IU family, as an IU team in the auditorium of William Tennant High School, celebrating our success as an organization, welcoming new team members, and then also recognizing many of the important accomplishments. So if you're able to attend, your commitment would be from about 8:45 until 10:30. And of course, you'd be welcome to stay as long as you like, but that's the general program for all of our staff. If you'd like to attend as a board member, just let me know. Parking is going to be at a premium because you're going to have literally thousands of people convening on one spot at the same time. And you won't be staying the whole day, so we'll get you close so that you can also get in and out. And we actually work with Warminster Township so that we have offsite parking and buses and things. I mean, it's quite a production, but it's in my career at the intermediate unit, this will be I think my 17th or 18th year at the IU. Opening day stands out to me every year as just one of those. It's just magical, and it's just nice to see everyone as well. So I encourage you as board members to attend. And if you could just let me know, that would be helpful. Rebecca's not here this evening, as is obvious and apparent. Therefore, there's no legislative report. However, I will do my best to not provide you with the comprehensive legislative report that you're accustomed to each month, but instead to just give you some resources that allow you to see what's happening. Things that came across my desk as recently as today that I shared with you electronically, and that also I put in your folders. The first is actually probably the last pack. It's this thing on the state letterhead. I just want to show you what this is here. There's a basic education funding commission that our legislature put together to take a look in response to the court case specific to the way that education is funded in Pennsylvania. And I just wanted to make you aware that on August 10th, the Basic Education Funding Commission, chaired or co-chaired, I should say, by Senator Phillips Hill and Representative Sterla, issued this press release, which indicated the schedule and the location, or at least the city that the meetings are occurring in. So if any of you are attending or interested in attending this, at least you can put this on your calendar, and you can check their website, which is listed at the bottom. The actual locations aren't listed yet. I noticed today, I don't know when it was posted, but today they actually listed the 12 or so members of the commission that are from our state legislature, the members of the Democratic and Republican Senate and House caucuses. And so you could, if you're actually curious which of our elected officials from across the Commonwealth are part of this commission, you can go to that website and view it there. Also, something I shared with you electronically that I've also put in your packet for the benefit of your review is something that I received full credit to PASBO, which is the Association for School Business Officials. That's essentially the 500 and some odd Allison Bilovics that are in the Commonwealth supporting school districts, intermediate units, and career and technical centers, as well as, of course, charter schools, et cetera. So they put together this really comprehensive slide deck, which again, you have electronically. I won't read it to you. A lot of it, if you read a newspaper article or whatever, a lot of it's covered there in terms of what was approved, what wasn't approved. And it's actually all really outlined nicely here, slide by slide. As I was talking to Allison earlier this afternoon, she had a really great suggestion. She said, what if we turn to page 10, which is on the back side of one of the pages? And just if you're curious, if there's like one slide in here that I thought was really helpful, because it's hard to find this slide in a newspaper article. And the slide is titled, What Do We Know? And for the benefit of the people that can't see the slides, it actually talks about the line items of the budget, the basic ed funding, special ed funding, ready to learn, level up, career and technical, mental health grants, facilities, et cetera. the affiliated dollar amount in the budget, and then whether or not it's funded with the way that the budget stands currently. Because you remember, only some of the budget was funded the way that the deal went down between the legislature and the governor's office. So only, I think about 75% of what was earmarked or budgeted is actually authorized to flow. So there's about 25% or so that is not. And again, all of that's calculated and articulated in all of these slides. Allison, do you just want to give them a sense of what the no and the yes actually means? Because it's actually counterintuitive, I find.
So the slide looks like this if you're trying to find it in your packet. So essentially what it shows is for each line item, if under the third column where it says fiscal school code needed, no, it means the dollars can flow. If there's a yes indicated, it means there's some type of fiscal or school code required in order for those dollars to flow into your districts.
So a no means the money is flowing. A yes means it won't flow until they get back in session and pass a school code. So if you're curious what money's tied up or what money's moving currently today, August, what's the 18th? 15th. I missed a couple days there. August 15th. The no is what's flowing. Again, that's why I said it was counterintuitive. You don't need a school code bill for that money to flow. Oh, what does the yes no mean, Allison? Probably it depends.
My interpretation from their call this morning is there's some change or variation in the formula or how that money is allocated that they still need to work through.
So it's to your point, it's not a science, but this is kudos to PASBO. This is the first time I've seen someone put in a slide what money is moving and what money is not moving. So I just wanted to point it out to you. So
Yeah, I have a question. So were you just talking about the level up funding? Is that what, or no? So my question is regarding level up funding.
that's frozen right now.
Yeah, so and that's basically to try to get districts that were underfunded for the basic education, correct?
Correct.
To get up to snuff. And I mean, I know for our school district, there were a couple groups that had calculated the underfunding, and they were telling Bristol that we were underfunded by almost $8,000 a kid. And we have 1,200 kids, so I don't know if we're gonna be getting that kind of money, but it's a step in the right direction. So I hope they can work that out.
So with that, sir, if there are questions, I can take them back when Rebecca's back. We can get some answers. But I just thought in the absence of a legislative report and knowing that this is hot off the press today, I wanted you to see it and I wanted you to know what I took away as the most important slide. And with
Okay,
that concludes my report.
No other questions. We can move on to item 13, informational items. We have nothing there. Item 14 is as already stated, we met in executive session prior to the meeting. Item 15, old business. Does anyone have any old business they wish to discuss?
Just one update from the administration,
Sure.
if we might, Allison.
So just an update, we've talked about completing an RFP for investment consulting services. So that RFP is out and it is due back tomorrow afternoon. So we will receive all responses in tomorrow. And then we're looking to hold a finance committee meeting before the next board meeting to talk through the submissions and how you might like to move forward with that.
How often in the past have we gone about switching the financial in?
So as for a formal investment consultant, we don't currently have one. So this would be, I would say, a new move. We've had somebody in the past who reviewed our collateralization to make sure it was, met our needs and met the requirements. But this would be expanded services that we have not done in the past.
And this was based on conversation at the board level. So this is something that we're doing at your request. And then obviously the finance committee will approve it and then, or not approve it, excuse me, consider it. And then any contract that you would enter would be, subject to discretion of the board. So ultimately, as a result of the conversations that we had in previous months, the RFP was issued. And those results will be returned tomorrow and we'll review the RFP results with the finance committee or any member of the board that's interested.
Okay, moving on to item 16. Is there any new business that anyone would like to bring up or put on the table for discussion? I'll take that as a no. and we move on to public participation of non-agenda items. And I was informed by Karen that there are no people signed up for public participation. So we'll move that off the table, and that will bring us to our next meeting will be Tuesday, September 19th. As Dr. Hoffman reminded, if anybody can come on Monday to the opening day, please join us. It is, like you said, it is a great day. You really get a chance, again, I always talk about how I go all over the county and I see what great employees we have at every level. Here's a chance to get them all in one place. And again, it really, it's palpable that you can feel that we've got a great team of employees from top to bottom. So if you can make it on Monday, please join us. And with that, I would call for a motion to adjourn.
So just real quick,
Sure.
I would say that opening day is the second best event that the
Thank you.
IU has
Good
throughout the
catch.
year, with number one being the graduation.
Yeah.
Because the graduation is the best, especially when you hear the speeches from the students who are graduating and the way that they communicate them with their individual needs. But it is the second best because it
100%.
really is a really neat event. If there's two events you're going to go to for the IU, those are the two.
Excellent. Well
agree.
said. Well
I
said,
agree.
both of you.
Very well
Thank you
said.
for correcting the record. That was well said.
So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move second.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Read about you anymore in the paper.